So good to have you here. I'm curious, Cox has such a big footprint here at the show. What is your message or mission here at this big NADA?
Yeah, I love this event. It is so energizing to be with all of our dealers and lenders and manufacturers. You know what what we're talking about, and it's funny because I started the week at AFSA. One of
Oh,
our
right.
big dealer groups was there. One of the executives was speaking, and it's funny he talked about it, which is omni-channel, which is really creating a consumer experience. The consumer really has to be at the center of everything we do in automotive, but it's really creating a consumer experience that works. What we know, we do a ton of research at Cox Automotive. I know you know that. And what we know is that consumers want to do so much digitally, but they don't necessarily want to do a full e-commerce transaction. It's a big purchase, and they need the dealer's help to figure out what's coming in, what's going out, what's the best inventory for them. And so we have a new solution that we launched this year that really helps tie it all together. So the data that we have, all the rich consumer data from like Auto Trader, Kelley Blue Book, all of our dealer websites, and you match that up with all of our rich inventory data from Manheim, from Viato, and everything we know about the customer in terms of their service history. All of that information is at the fingertips of the dealer, so it creates a great personalized consumer experience. But the dealer also has control and a really good dashboard to be able to make decisions. It really creates a great experience. And I'll tell you, on the show floor, the dealers that are seeing it are super excited.
Yeah, because like you said, customers want to do some amount and more of it online before they go to the store, and what they really don't want to do is go to the store and have to start all over again.
That for sure, for sure. It doesn't feel like somebody really knows them. And what we have all been accustomed to is, as we shop online, is that it starts to serve up deals that are customized to us. And so why should automotive feel any different than any
Right.
other experience?
Should be at least as good.
At least
Should be
as
better.
good. We're better.
Cox Automotive consistently looks at dealer sentiment,
We do.
tracking it regularly, but also there's no substitute for talking to people face to face.
Yeah.
What's your sense of the mood of the dealers in America right now?
Well, it's interesting because I was with some dealers in Northern California toward the end of the year, and then of course we do a tremendous amount of research, and our dealer sentiment study at the end of last year kind of bore out what I was hearing from some dealers that I was visiting with on the West Coast, which is, things are tough. Affordability is a challenge, and I also heard that have heard that a little bit on the show floor from dealers, but I do believe, and I've seen it here, that there is a sense of optimism. It's when we look at our information on what consumers are saying, consumers actually have higher satisfaction with dealers this past year than they did the prior year. And I just went to this Gen Z presentation today, and Gen Zers, because they don't have the experience, are even more likely to spend time with a dealership asking questions. And I just think there's enough pent-up demand. I think we're going to see a fantastic year for our car dealers.
Interesting. But I do know one of the things that is a source of anxiety for a lot of dealers is the EV transition, the pace of it, and
Yeah.
and just, I think, solving all of the problems that need to be solved in order to make it a bigger part of the market, the infrastructure and the affordability especially.
You are absolutely right. And as a consumer who just bought an EV, a plug-in
Congratulations.
EV, in the last year, I can understand the concern and just the anxiety you have around a purchase like that and understanding things. And we don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know what's going to happen with the adoption curve. Let me just say that. But what I do know is that we play a really important role at Cox Automotive, and I think of it in kind of two broad buckets. One being, we are usually an educator of consumers on new models, new vehicles, new features, and so we take that very seriously. Kelley Blue Book's been around for almost 100 years, and so we have a KBB EV guide that helps answer some of the questions that are out there, and I think that's an important role we play. The other thing that's really top of mind for folks is, what's my car going to be worth? You know, the battery is a
Right.
bigger part of the valuation of an electric vehicle. And so we've done a tremendous amount of work figuring out what the value of that is, because a lot of people rely on us for that information. And so we want to make sure that we can provide the most accurate value based on the state of the health of the battery. So yeah, it is top of mind for us as well.
And you've also built some services to try to help dealers and others in the value chain with
Yeah.
other elements of that.
We're helping with education, and then Grace Wong, my peer that runs the inventory business,
Right.
has invested in EV technology as well as part of her auction business. So we have a number. I mean, it's Cox Automotive is such a big business. We've invested in a number of areas. Yeah.
Right, right. Any last thoughts on the outlook for the year? I mean, it seems like things are growing and the factories are humming, getting
Yeah.
vehicles delivered to dealers, but with that rising inventory, it's like we're seeing shrinking margins again. It's a little more like the old days.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I heard someone say recently that everything old is new again. He was commenting on how some of the newer manufacturers are embracing kind of the franchise system.
Yeah.
And I think that's true. I think that. We are probably heading into a little bit more of a buyer's market than a seller's market that we've seen. I think more than ever, dealers are doing the right things. And I think what they're trying to figure out is who can help them find the right customers. Where there are the biggest audiences, where people can help them isolate which customers are interested in which vehicles. And I think, those that are working with partners that can help them really isolate and use all of the data to make good decisions about their deals are the ones that are going to succeed. And so that's what we're seeing in the market.
All right, Lori Wittman is President of Retail Services at Cox Automotive. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Jamie.